Okay, we're going to be talking about our regional manager model that it's going to be implemented and kind of the overview of it. So what a regional manager does is they go into a new market, like in this case, Lake Tahoe in that area. Maybe it's an area that a particular person knows well or has connections in, and then they help us to grow our business within that region. That's kind of the overview of it. And what I mean by grow the business is that they kind of handle all aspects of that region. They'll go in and they'll do onboarding to bring on properties in that area, and we'll train you up on how to do the onboarding. Once they start to get relationships with owners that they're willing to work with, we'll throw up those properties listings for them so that they can begin to generate inquiries, and so then they can eventually begin booking the home. And so that is sort of what the regional um, model looks like, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So first of all, there's really three things that a regional manager focuses on. First of all is onboarding. They're trying to bring on properties within their region, and then they're starting to, or and then once they bring on those relationships that they have with owners. They list the properties into our system. Then we go out and we try and get those properties listed. We push them out into various venues to try and get inquiries, and then we then make reservations. So regional managers are kind of tasked with those three responsibilities under the guidelines of management, and management will also provide the training and the tools to be able to do those things effectively. As they run into challenges either with onboarding or they don't know how to do marketing or something like that, it's the responsibility of the regional manager to go to management in order to get that training and information. Now, the way that we kind of our process for handling this is there's a few things. I'm gonna real quickly just kind of put in here kind of our methodology. The first is to measure the results. So we're going to measure how your area is doing. You're going to measure it. You're going to fill out a KPI report or a key performance indicator report for your region, and you're going to turn that in each month showing the progress of your onboarding, of your marketing, and your reservations. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. So we have here a the basic KPI report layout. These may change, but this is essentially what you'll turn in, and management will provide this to you so you can fill it out each month and send it to them so that they can monitor your performance in your region. So first of all, you measure your onboarding efforts, how many units you project, what your total units are, and then your working inventory. If you have any questions what any of these things are, you can obviously talk with your manager. Working inventory generally we consider that units that you've not only have added, but you've actually been able to book. So that measures your onboarding efforts, how many units that you actually have in the region that you've been able to put into the system. Next, you're going to measure how many total inquiries you're getting for the listings that you have. You're going to measure how many total Airbnb listings you have. How many paid listings you have, how much you're spending on those listings, and obviously that's going to be based on how much management is spending on it. How many leads per inquiry or per ad that you have out there are you getting? So that will kind of measure the amount of inquiries that you're getting to work with to make reservations, and then reservations tells us, obviously how many bookings you're getting and what percentage of the inquiries we're getting are you actually converting into bookings, the rent revenue per booking and the total rent revenue for your region. So that is how you are going to measure the success of your thing month after month. You're going to set goals for yourself and you're going to try and go and get those goals. Every month you'll meet with someone within management to discuss your region and to come up with strategies and solve problems that you're facing that maybe are hindering you from bettering your numbers. But ultimately it's a numbers game. It's how many units can you add? How many of those added units can you get out there online so that you can generate inquiries for? How many inquiries can you get? And then how many of those inquiries can you then convert into bookings? That's the formula. It's very simple and straightforward. And so getting that done and the challenges that you run into, obviously you'll work out with management. Another part of things that you'll be measuring is your individual listings. Okay, so down here at the bottom I have another tab. It's called listings. I'm going to go ahead and, here's a whole bunch of listings, but we're just going to focus on this top row because obviously they're just multiple different things. First of all, you have the property. You have where it is listed. So this property, the Tahoe Lakefront home, is listed on VRBO, the list or VHR. It might be vrbo.com, it might be HomeAway, wherever you end up listing it. The listing number, the ad location, meaning more specifically within that site, what kind of region is it under? Some, in this case, you have Lake Tahoe, but you also have South Lake Tahoe if you want it to be more specific and place it in a very specific region. When was the listing created? And then over here we have the performance. So we can see, in January, let's say you got 3 inquiries, but you didn't book any of them. In February, you got 5 inquiries from that listing and you were able to book one of them. So these are all important numbers that you're going to fill out on a monthly basis so that you can track the performance of each of the individual listings that you're putting up. And so you can see the changes in those listings over time, if they're getting better as you get more reviews and other things, or if they're actually decreasing. And so essentially what we do first, our first step kind of in the process, is to measure our results of what's going on. You go out and you do this for a month, and then you're going to identify the issues. There are going to be issues that you face, and when you look at your numbers, you're going to notice these. Let's say you had 30 inquiries in February and no bookings. Well, that would be an issue. We would notice. We'd say, what the heck? Why did we get so many inquiries but none of them booked? And then we're going to need to go and identify the root causes. Okay, so find root causes. Okay, and let's say we find out that it was because all these inquiries were for Christmas time. This property actually is already booked for Christmas. Oh, well, and there's no other alternative properties that we can put these people in. Well, in that case, we would have found the root cause. It's because we didn't update our calendar and there's nothing else really available. That's why we got 30 inquiries and none of them booked. So then we'd have to come up with a creative solution. You find a creative solution, you then implement that solution, and then you measure again. And this is the process we do over and over. Every month you go and you find your numbers, you take all your measurements to see how you're doing. You then identify any of the issues, as you look at your numbers. You're going to figure out what the root causes of those issues that you're seeing are. And I'm going to put identify and define issues. It's important to really truly define what the problem is. Even put it in writing if necessary. And then, so this is how we continuously improve. There's a continuous improvement model for your region. So obviously, this is kind of how we report it. This is sort of the overview of what you're going to be doing, but you're going to want to get specific training on onboarding, on marketing, and on bookings if you don't already have it. And specifically, onboarding is where it all starts. If you're going into this and this is, you're starting in a new region, you need to learn, how do I even get people to start working with me? And if you talk with your manager, they can give you proper training so that you can see what the process is that we have in place that we've proven that works for bringing on units within a region. So once you feel like you have onboarding training, you can get started. Once you start bringing on some units, well, then you're probably going to want to go talk to your manager about, how do I market these properties? How do I get them out there? We'll talk about that. We'll train you on that. Then once you have them out there and you're starting to get inquiries, maybe you're not really good at booking them. Well, we can give you training on how to book them. And then once you know how to do all 3 of those things, you're going to be able to really do well in your region growing it, because you're going to be doing each of those activities every day, and your numbers will steadily improve over time, and that's exactly what we want for our regional managers to do. So anyway, that is the overview of what the regional managers do. They basically go into an area, they start onboarding, doing the marketing, doing the bookings, and they grow that region. And if they have problems, they are proactive and they come to management asking for assistance in getting those things done and overcoming the issues. Really, when you're doing this, as you find issues and you're trying to identify the root causes, this is where you can go to management. You can discuss with them the issues that you're facing so that together you can find the roots of those problems and creative solutions to overcome them. Okay, so if you have any other questions or issues, just let your manager know.